Welcome back to Disquiet Time. This is Ann and Kelly, and we are joined again by Michael. We have a brand new topic this month. This is something I know nothing about. So, Michael, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, again, I am Michael of Design Magicians, a collaborative group of graphic designers made up of many talented partners, such as me, myself, and I. You can find our social media at Design Magicians on Twitter, and the link to our lovely portfolio in the description below. This month, I am here to torture you with Yokai, the
Oh my gosh.
mythical, magical, paranormal, strange, and bizarre creatures from Japan.
I know nothing about these. This is going to be wild.
I'm ready. I don't know a thing.
Okay. It's going to be a wild ride. Feel free to ask all the questions that pop into your brain, because there's going to be a lot of them. And I'm not going to know the answer to half of them, but you know, maybe our listeners that may not know much about yokai may learn something disturbing through your questions.
Oh, no. That's what we're here for.
So
We're here for the weird.
I have planned 3 specific yokai I'm going to be talking about, but first I'm going to be covering yokai in general. Like, what is yokai? What does it mean?
Okay.
So yokai is kind of a catch-all term for the paranormal in Japan. They cover spirits and demons and monsters and gods and everything in between. There's not a definitive thing that it covers. It's very broad.
So if it's supernatural, it's a yokai.
Correct.
Okay.
And there are certain things that you can pinpoint, like, oh, that's definitely yokai-like. Like, a lot of them have certain type of weaponry, like scythes or swords and stuff like that, or particular specters have a very tragic backstory that it repeats in yokai folklore a lot.
Okay, so they have similar elements linking them.
Yeah, like there's a category of yokai that covers just objects around your house becoming sentient.
No.
Yes, they're called Tsukumo Gami. I'm going to butcher a lot of these. I am very basic in my Japanese, but I am learning.
Cool.
So, Tsukumo Gami are like artifact spirits, essentially.
Whoa.
That is not one of the ones I'm covering. So I am covering the very famous Kappa.
Kappa.
I am covering Odokuro, which is a giant skeleton the size of a castle.
Whoa.
And I am covering Kuchisake Onna, which is a very... It gives you a very good look at how yokai change culturally and the mythology becomes modernized over time. That one's very fascinating.
Oh.
I've tried to pick yokai that each carry a different energy behind them. So some are spookier than others, some are more disturbing than others, but they all are fascinating, and their stories of how they were recorded over time are all very unique, and I always find them to be very interesting, because you never expect the term magical butt ball
No.
to be to have something to do with a monster.
Right. That is not something we normally say on this channel.
Yes. So we're going to start with Kappa. Now, Kappa translates to river child. Now, I want you to imagine in your mind's eye strange, scraggly, turtle-like creature standing on 2 legs. So it's bipedal.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
I wish, but no. Imagine that on crack. So, it has a beak. It has a bowl cut, but not only does it have a bowl cut, but it has a bald spot at its center where it has a dish-like impression. So it's kind of like a
tonsure, but
yes, full-on tonsure.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Okay. You know what I'm hearing, other than the hair, it sounds like the thing from in the Mario games. Wasn't there a turtle that was Kappa? Wasn't he a turtle?
Oh, Koopa.
Koopa. Yeah, no, Koopa isn't the turtle though, is he?
Yeah. So Koopa are the little
mushroom thingies.
No, they're the little turtles that
they are the turtles.
The minions. Yeah, they're the minions of Bowser, who is King Koopa.
Oh, that's why I'm getting confused.
Okay.
Yep, but we're going to talk about how yokai have influenced things in culture like that. It's fascinating. So Kappa have very distinct, tragic and horrible, but also light and funny backstory and folklore. I say that, and there, like, content warning, there is, some non-consensual things having to do with Kappa. I'll put it that way. Okay.
Oh, this will be interesting.
So.
Okay, trigger warning in case that bothers anybody.
Yes, please.
Definitely.
This might not be the podcast for you.
Yes.
We'll move on.
Specifically, Kappa is just. So, Kappas are usually found in lakes, rivers, ponds, and seas. They are creatures of the water. They enjoy dragging people into the water and suffocating them.
Nah.
And they eat their flesh.
Okay, they're pleasant.
Aren't they? Yeah.
Little monk turtles.
They're also known to be perverts.
Which
is where we get into the very questionable aspect where they were known to force themselves on women. They would look up women's kimonos.
Rude.
Yes, no, they are horrible. Now, all of those things have kind of been washed away from the Kappa over the years, and we've only been left with this kind of cutesy positive Kappa.
Within bigger Japanese culture?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of these yokai have been taken out of any sort of grotesque folklore they may have, and have been turned into these cute little icons, basically, that's used in commercials, television shows, video games.
Oh, like the kawaii version of...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people say that it's because since deaths and tragedies don't happen as much around water, Kappa have chilled out. So
gotcha.
One of the things that Kappa does is that they go up on land, and their little bowl on their head, that little imprint that they have on their head, it would be filled with water. And imagine, walking at night, of course, near the river.
Always at night.
Yeah, and you see, a small child, what you perceive to be a small child, and you may ask, are you okay? Are you safe? Are you going home? And upon closer inspection, it's a Kappa. In those situations, when you encounter a Kappa, there are some ways of just like stopping it from hurting you. They're not
boosting
all
your
violent.
chances of survival.
Yeah, they're not all violent in nature, but they definitely have a bad reputation for drowning people. So one of the things you can actually do is that if you bow to a Kappa in greeting, they're pretty polite actually and civilized. They are known to like play games and do sumo, so they'll probably bow back, and when they do, the water will fall from the top of their head. Now that takes away their power, or even possibly freezes them in place.
Oh.
And
Now, what were their powers when they had the water?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
The sources
So
I
variable.
read were just like, it leaves them powerless.
Okay, without specifying. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in these, because part of the problem, well, not problem, but it's just what it is over time as the stories are told over and over and over, details change.
Right.
And things are lost. So one of the things that Kappa want from humans is their butt ball.
I'm not sure I want to know more about this.
See now, yeah, I have no idea where that's gonna go.
Out the anus, usually. So the Kappa...
Point.
The Kappa would reach up the anal cavity to take your shirikodama, which is what the butt ball is. Some say that it is the literal manifestation of the human soul. Some say it's the liver.
That's not a good way to get to the liver. Not that there is a good way.
No, that is not the most efficient way to the liver.
Yeah. So when we start talking about like what does this all mean? Like where did that come from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people think that dead bodies that may have been floating down the river, as the body decomposes, it gets bloated, and some things begin to protrude. And people would find the bodies and see protrusions, right? And
right.
that may be where the story of the butt ball came from. One of the theories as to, why Kappa exist, basically. It was used as like a boogeyman story to tell children, right?
Yeah, stay away from the water.
Yeah.
Dragged in.
For a specific reason. So, in that time period, poor families that had children couldn't afford to have the child, so they would send it downriver. So, dead children. And so families would tell their children, please don't go near the river because the Kappa will get you, in order to shield them from seeing that grotesque.
And if they were to see something like that, it would be the Kappa got them.
Yep. Well, some people think that Kappa, those children became Kappa, basically.
The children. Okay.
Spirits of dead children often turn into, cross-culturally turn into scary things.
Monsters. It's definitely a thing.
Yeah. Yep, I believe Kappa didn't start getting its features as we know it now with the beak and all that until, let me think, I think it was 1712.
Okay.
Over time, the depictions varied. Like, there's over 12 different types of Kappa, I believe. Some without shells, some that walk on all fours, some with 3 anuses.
Wow.
Now, why would you need 3?
That's a very good question. Yeah. So, that's Kappa. It's kind of, for a little period of time there, was viewed as like kind of almost a vengeful river spirit that need to be appeased. So one of the things that is thought to be one of their favorite things to eat is cucumbers. So many, yes, many people, very religious people in Japan will offer a cucumber to a river or something in order to protect like their family lineage from Kappa disasters. So like being taken.
So next float trip,
bring cucumbers.
Some cucumbers, yeah.
Yeah.
Noted.
Mm-hmm.
On the shopping list.
Yeah. So that's essentially the basics of Kappa.
So they went from that to this cutesy, kawaii.
Mischievous.
Yeah. I'm going to guess that at some point, since Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, even though I was joking earlier, it is an American thing, I'm going to guess it's somehow influenced by this, because it does have, of course, obviously very strong Japanese influences.
Yeah. One of the hilarious things.
The version, not the rapey, drown your children version.
Yeah, right. One of the things that you can do, it's hilarious, is you can look at old depictions of Kappa, and you can see these woodblock prints where you see somebody bending over and basically farting in a Kappa's face as a deterrent to the Kappa.
Okay, that would work.
There's another one where there's a hunter.
Drink your milk, please.
There's a hunter who has basically pulled down, is pulled down their shorts and is showing their butt to the river, and you can see there's a Kappa coming up because they're gonna hunt the Kappa. So there's a lot of depictions like that are just hilarious.
Wow.
So dealing with them does not have just one way, apparently.
No.
Right.
They're very strange creatures because, you hear all these violent, horrible things that they do, but then you're also told that they, play games and they do sumo, and they, if they promise you something, that you can believe them on that promise. They will fulfill whatever they promised you.
And this is the scary version. Has these characteristics. Okay.
Yeah. There's a tale of a doctor and his wife, I believe. She goes to the bathroom and she feels something as she's going to the bathroom, and turns out there's a Kappa touching her butt. Right. And she basically...
I mean, some people worry about snakes in the toilet or whatever. I think that would be much worse.
Yeah, way worse. Because it's going for something.
Yeah, and she basically tells it off, right? And it runs away. And then a few nights later, it returns and it does the same thing. And she's prepared this time. So she cuts its fucking arm off.
That will teach it to ask permission.
Yes.
May I please touch your bottom?
Can I has
the
butt?
answer's always going to be no.
Has butt.
Consent, Kappa. So it runs away, and a few days later, it returns and it's begging for its hand back. It's its hand that was removed, and they ask, why do you need your hand or whatever? And it says that, as a Kappa, I can put my hand back in place with no problems. It'll reattach. And I can teach you, Doctor, how to set bones if you give me back my hand. And so they return the hand, and the Kappa teaches this doctor how to set bones back in place. And basically that's how bone setting became a thing. Yeah.
Kind of a Rumpelstiltskin deal.
Yeah, and then the Kappa brought them fish as a thank you, basically.
Wild.
So their folklore is kind of all over the place.
It is.
Yeah, fascinating.
Maybe
creatures.
just because it's so old. I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
It's had time to take on a lot of connotations. And I'm sure that diseases passed through water, like dysentery, etc. Not only just the dead children, but also just accidental drownings were a huge issue. So something that's this water spirit that can be good and bad, because water is good and bad, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you'll find in yokai and just in Japanese media period, there's a lot of gray. There's not necessarily good and evil. There's just gray. There's, yokai who are just doing their job. That's what they do. They don't know anything else but that. And some of them may be harmful, and some of them may not.
Yeah, I mean, when they're going for your liver, that's pretty bad.
Well, Kappa's hungry. Though there's many different theories as to what they do with the butt ball.
That's a good question. I didn't even think to ask. Why do they want this? Is it food?
Some people think they eat it. Some people think they're disgusted by it but want it as like a treasure sort of thing.
Oh.
Very, very strange.
So now, do you happen to know within this mythology, if you lose yours, what happens? Like, do you become a ghost? Do you die? Can you become a ghost? Or is it like if you lose your soul, now nothing can happen to you in the afterlife and you don't have one? I mean, what's the consequences?
I believe you die, and that's a very good question about the soul thing. I would imagine, since it's supposed to be, in some tales, it's supposed to be the manifestation of the human soul, that you would not be able to turn into any ghost. I imagine if they ate you, it would just be over.
You're done. Done,
yeah.
Complete annihilation if it gets it. Nice.
Pretty serious consequence.
Right.
Yeah. So, be careful next time you go swimming.
Ooh, yep. Well, we're taking cucumbers on the next float trip because it's float season, y'all.
Right.
So
you don't want to be around those.
Do you have any questions about Kappa before I move on?
Oh, no. Wow. If I think of any, we'll come back. That's a lot to absorb. That's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, it's insane.
It is. And it's such a broad category. It can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
And how it's now become cutesy.
Yeah, they're used as mascots a lot in Japan for a lot of things.
It's interesting that they can just go like, it might, drown you and steal your soul, but look how cute it is on this flag.
It's like a Mothman plushie.
I can put him on a t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
It probably says something about the Japanese psyche that they can be like, it's absolutely awful and you will have no afterlife because it actually ate your soul, but it's...
Yeah, but pin it to your backpack.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, the next yokai I'm going to cover is the Gasha Dokuro.
Yasha Dokuro.
Gasha, okay.
Gasha You're going to have to send all the spellings to me, please.
Yeah, no worries. So the Gasha Dokuro is, imagine, again, middle of the night, walking, in a secluded area, when suddenly you feel an earthquake. The earth is shaking, and you hear a booming, and you turn around and you see a giant skeleton bigger than any skyscraper you've ever seen, with glowing red eyes. And that is the Gashadokuro. The Gashadokuro is basically a collective of spirits. Spirits of people who have not received proper burials. They're angry, they're sad, there's a lot of emotion in these spirits.
But they still have their souls. They still have their butt balls.
Yes, their butt balls are intact, yes.
Okay.
So,
just clearing that up.
In battlefields or in places where tragedies have occurred where the bodies weren't able to be properly buried, that
high emotion, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the Gashadokuro usually are created, where all these spirits come together and create this large structurally... I mean, it depends on the structure. Some people say that it's just one giant skeleton. Others say that it's a collection of all the bones to form the giant skeleton.
Wow, so it's not like dozens of angry ghosts, that extremely haunted place. It's a giant ghost.
Yeah, but it's solid. It's just skeleton. It's like just bones, right?
You would get to be your own ghost. You might become the third rib on the left side of a ghost.
Yes.
Interesting.
If you're a part of some tragedy where you and a group of people were not properly buried afterwards, you may become the eye socket of the Gashadokuro.
Interesting.
Man, what a bummer. You don't get to be your own ghost.
Right.
Yeah.
That's probably a very American thing to worry about.
Yeah. Now
that individualism.
Yeah. Gashadokuro has appeared in a lot of media just like Kappa, like books, video games, movies. There's been giant skeletons in a lot of video games that I've played for sure, like Castlevania has a very famous...
Really?
Yeah. I believe it first originated in its current form as the giant skeleton in a tragic tale of revenge having to do with a attempted coup and an emperor. Where the daughter of the person that tried to go against the emperor, it's the daughter and I think the son, I can't remember. They go off and they learn frog magic. And
did you say frog?
Yes, from a wizard in the forest, because they go into hiding after the coup failed and their father dies. But to make the story short, she basically comes back and summons hundreds of yokai to take her revenge. And in the original telling of the story, it's an army of skeletons, but it was retold by somebody, and I'm blanking out on their name right now, unfortunately. But in their retelling, it is just one giant skeleton.
Okay.
So that's kind of its first appearance in Japanese folklore, is in this retelling of the story where that aspect was changed. There's a very famous picture of the Odokuro. You can say it, Gashadokuro or Odokuro. It's a... I'm going to butcher this to hell and back. It is Utagawa's Kinishiyoshi's Mitsukuni defying the skeleton specter painting. It's very famous. If you saw it, you probably say, "Oh, I've seen that before."
Oh, okay.
It's where like a giant skeleton's peering over at some people. And it's like
send me that link and I'll see if I can find it and put it as one of the images over this.
Yeah. So that's where it first came to be in its current incarnation. And essentially, if you were to, be unlucky enough to find yourself face to face with one of these creatures, you would probably not survive. It really doesn't have any weaknesses. The best...
There's no traditional way to protect yourself from this or
No.
defeat it.
No parts, no bows, no... Okay.
Yeah, no, the best thing you can probably do is hide, and hide well, because it can send parts of it after you.
Oh!
Oh! Fair.
Yeah. So, Gashadokuro is terrifying. It's unstoppable, really. I believe that the only real way to stop it is, one, you make it to daylight, because, again, everything happens at night.
Always.
As we've learned in the Mothman episode.
Yes.
And two, you have to, the spirits have to be properly laid to rest.
Oh, goodness.
So if you suspect that you have one of these around, you would need to find these bodies and...
Yeah, but if you had one of these around, it would be, you and everybody else's problem, because it's the size of a castle. Like,
Oh, that's true.
This thing will be stomping around your neighborhood like it's nothing.
That's terrifying.
Oh, I've never
Yeah.
heard of those. Those are horrifying.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's really scary.
I love it. It's a great yokai.
Yeah, so it's just kind of... It's unstoppable, and the only way to satisfy it is to bury the bodies. Now, what counts as a proper burial? I mean, could they just mess up and not follow your wishes for your burial and you turn into this thing? Or does it have to be like a tragic death
a bunch
that's
of you.
flat out not buried?
That's a very good question, because I guess it would... Honestly, I guess it would depend on the religion, if you had a religion, of the person that you'd be burying. And since this yokai is made up of, several hundreds, perhaps, of spirits, that would be a very big undertaking. I don't know if there's a standard way.
Because, if you have 100 people in, some kind of mass tragic event... Yeah, how do you then bury them correctly to correct the problem? Would any tradition work, I wonder?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very good
As long as you
question.
make an effort.
Yeah. They're not...
Yeah, maybe it's the thought that counts? 'Cause I mean, if your town started getting haunted by one of these things, it's like, well, if you guys are all Buddhists, how do you know for sure that that's cool with them?
Right? Yeah.
If they're a 300-year-old spirit, well, okay, that's probably still recent enough for Buddhism.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's been around way longer.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's from something back from Genghis Khan killed a bunch of people. I mean,
Yeah, how long do these take to develop? Could it take hundreds of years?
I would imagine that it may not take that long. I think that it may take a few years, but as the spirits become restless and angrier over time, I imagine the Gashadokuro would form relatively easily.
Okay.
You don't have to wait for a collective certain number to get there.
Yeah, I haven't found anything that says, you must have 50 spirits in order to.
That's critical mass.
I mean, because you get serial killers that, Long Island serial killer that buried their victims in groupings of 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's well, would you just get a smaller one of that?
Good question. No idea.
I mean, Certainly there's no skeletons running around Long Island as far as...
So yeah, it didn't happen there.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the Gashadokuro.
That one's really scary that there's no way other than figuring out the way to properly bury it.
Or making it to sunlight, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to make it to daylight to figure out the funeral preparation, so...
Yeah.
Oof.
So, this next yokai is fascinating. Especially given, you know, what we've all gone through with the pandemic. So, this next one is called Kuchisake Ona.
Kuchisake Ona.
Yes. Now, if you would, imagine yourself in the middle of the night, walking home. You just left school. You're a small child, heading back home.
That late? Oh, gracious.
Yeah. And a woman wearing a mask walks up to you and asks you a very particularly strange question. Do I look beautiful?
Do I look evil?
Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful.
What would you say in this situation?
Beautiful. She's always wearing a mask when she says this.
Yes, a face mask.
Hmm.
What would you say in this situation?
I have heard of these, and they're awful. Well,
be polite.
So
yeah, see,
you
that's
may
the
say
problem.
you may say yes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone asks you that question, they're not looking for no as an answer.
Well,
I think you know it's an answer, right?
that's when she leans in, takes off the mask, and reveals a horribly grotesque, oversized mouth that stretches from ear to ear. Her mouth has been slashed at each corner to their ears. Blood running from the gaping maw of her mouth. And she says to you, even like this? And she takes advantage of this moment and lashes out at you with her knife.
Oh, she's armed. Yikes.
Yes.
Well, and I've heard other versions of it too, where if you say no, she kills you. If you say yes,
If you say no, in this case, she slashes you anyways.
yeah.
Oh, so you're just toast.
You are, yes. She. If you say yes, I believe she cuts your cheeks to match hers.
Oh.
Make you look like her because you said it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, messed
I've
up.
heard that one, and I hate it.
So there's many different sort of origin stories for this one. In one setting, she is a wife with an abusive husband who then slices her cheeks open. In another story, she is getting plastic surgery and something horrible happens. Another one, she's seeing a dentist. So this tale...
People weren't afraid of the dentist.
So this tale started in the Edo period, so around 200 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like the modern rendition of it. Back then, she was described as just wandering around as a spirit with her mouth slashed open in that manner. But there was no mask, of course.
Okay.
Whereas
So you knew
now,
that you were getting into from the beginning with her.
Yes. Whereas now, this sort of mythos about am I pretty, am I beautiful, has come up with the surprise element with the undoing of the mask, right?
Right.
In Japan, it really started popping up in the minds of children and parents. I believe it was 1979, when in a small village in Yatsu Gifu Prefecture, rumors started spreading of a woman wearing a mask standing in somebody's garden, and then she undid the mask and had the slash underneath it. It started spreading, and a newspaper picked it up, and from there the story just slowly started returning to the subconscious of the people of Japan, eventually until it spread everywhere, and it was used to scare children. They were told, don't talk to strangers.
Yeah, that would scare children.
It could be the Kuchisake Onna, right? So, over
Imagine the
time,
nightmares children started having when everybody was wearing masks.
Yes. Well, it's fascinating because I believe I read that 99% of children in Japan know of this legend.
Oh wow, it's really widespread.
Yeah. And there was a panic. There was kind of a panic in the 80s about this yokai, about, a woman in a mask, asking people if they think that she's beautiful and then mutilating them or killing them depending on the answer.
Yeesh.
I mean, dear God.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it's the 80s that it was happening, that people were...
Yeah, there was a big scare in the 80s, and it kind of had a return in the early 2000s with the internet. Where it started spreading again. There's some things you can do to stop an attack happening.
Oh, okay, so not unstoppable.
Not unstoppable, though. Running is not an answer because she can run incredibly fast. In fact, now that I say that, I believe one of the origin stories for her is that she was an Olympic gold medalist, which trying to explain her speed.
Gotcha. So she did not start out as a ghost or monster. She's not a demon or something like that. She started human.
Yes. Yep. And then she became this tragic ghost. I believe she's a ghost.
Gotcha. She's a ghost. Okay.
Yeah. Japanese, the yokai, there's a lot of tragic female ghosts. For whatever reason, they always tend to be female, and there's always an air of betrayal or remorse. There's always something tragic around it that makes them very what's the word I'm looking for?
Sympathetic?
Yes, and very sad and mysterious. So, she can run. She breaks Mothman speeds.
Oh.
Yeah, so about 100 miles per hour. The official Mothman speed.
Fastest clocked Mothman.
Yeah. So, one of the ways you can try to distract her is she's fond of a particular candy, which is called the Beko Ame. It's a traditional hard candy. And supposedly if you just throw it at her or throw it at the floor, it'll distract her for a short amount of time and you'll be able to escape.
Okay.
Ghost girls, same. Just throw candy.
Can you just throw chocolate at me? I'll be gone for a week.
Yeah, I'm a little more particular. Well, I mean, she's particular, but I don't like hard candies, but yeah. I mean,
that's the type of ghost I am.
Stop and rethink killing you if you gave me candy.
Yeah. The other bizarre thing is the scent of hair pomade.
Oh.
Or just saying the word pomade 3 times.
So she hates hair gel.
Yeah, so
Or really likes it.
supposedly, whatever in her origin, whatever horrible figure, did this to her. Supposedly they were wearing a lot of pomade.
Gotcha.
And so it causes a reaction in her that causes her to disengage from you. If you just remind her of pomade, or if you have pomade in, or she smells it.
So guys need to start using hair products to make them feel better.
Yes, everybody just needs to carry around a bottle of pomade with hard candies in it.
Brand, or
I don't think so. So just carry around pomade with hard candies in it, and just like chuck it.
Let's do one or the other. She's either going to just run away or she's going to eat the candy.
Yep. One of the other things I believe is you can. I don't understand this one. You can repeat the word for garlic in Japanese while drawing the kanji character for dog in one's hand.
What?
Garlic.
I don't know.
That kind of sounds like the equivalent, though, of patting your tummy and rubbing your head at the same time.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Say one word and write another.
Garlic.
Yeah.
Good luck. I mean,
apparently-
if somebody's talking too loudly near me at work, I end up typing nonsense emails. So.
Yeah, that happens to me too.
Like,
Yes.
Wait, what? I did not mean to type that. So you're scared to death, you're being confronted by an absolutely terrifying sight, and you're supposed to be able to say garlic and write dog at the same time.
Yes, in kanji in your hand.
That is
Stupid
absolutely
human tricks, man.
Useless. Useless.
Yes, I would just be dead.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Me
mean,
too.
Yeah, I'm not that multi-talented.
One of the things that I find fascinating, for whatever reason, if you live in a place that has to do with the kanji character for the number 3, it haunts those places more. So like
Really?
the number 3 becomes a thing, like those with a 3 in their birth dates. I guess if you live in a place with the number 3, if you have 3 in your phone number, you're more likely.
I mean, I used to live on 13th Street. That would be bad.
That's a great number, though.
Yeah. I mean, it was great, but
Yeah, double
I think
unlucky.
it sounds like that could have. Well, it was haunted, so.
True. So is number 3 just bad in general, or just associated with her?
I believe it's just associated with her.
Because actually 4 is, I think it is, or is that Chinese that 4 is bad? No, I think it's Japanese.
Um,
Oh, now I forget. One of them, the word for 4 is similar to the word for death. Now I can't remember which one it is. Let me look that up. Because I do not want to mix up my cultures there.
I know that. I believe that 13 is viewed as unlucky in Japanese culture as well.
Let's see.
But I don't know about 3 as a standalone number.
It is supposedly Japanese, that number 4 also.
Okay.
Of course, we have probably gone ahead and exported that dislike of 13.
So
Sounds like a thing that we would...
That
Yeah, that
is Kuchisake Ona.
Yeah, see, that one's so scary. Because,
Yeah,
I mean,
especially
usually
with
the
masks.
answer is just I mean, yeah. Doesn't matter what you say, you're gonna get cut.
Especially with mask wearing being so prevalent.
Yeah.
People talk to anybody at night.
Mm-hmm.
All of you grave diggers doing your jobs at night, don't talk to anybody.
It's always night.
Little professional tip there.
It's always
If
night.
your job should be done during the daytime,
Everything
do it
is
during the daytime.
Yeah.
Stop doing shady shit. Yeah, grave digging. Yeah, I think that's grave robbing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening at night in graveyards.
Please listen to the Mothman episode.
Oh, I guess.
Please go back and listen to that episode.
This will make so much more sense.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 yokai I had prepared.
I like it, and they're so different.
Yes, I tried to pick 3 very distinct yokai.
So what things are considered yokai? Are we talking things like the kitsune? Is that a yokai, or is that, because that's a demon, yeah?
Kitsune is a yokai. I just landed on the page for it on this lovely book by Matt Alt, by Hiroko, Yoda, and Matt Alt. It's called Yokai Attack, the Japanese Monster Survival Guide. It's an amazing book.
Oh, I think I need this book.
Yes, it's great. Kitsune is a yokai. It is a fox demon.
Yeah, it has the tail. Now the yokai, the kitsune, is that related to the stone that just cracked? Remember that?
Stone that just cracked.
The stone in Japan that cracked. It was for the standing stone it was protecting against some kind of demon. They did a ceremony to put it back.
I don't know anything about it.
Seven-tailed fox, which I think is a kitsune.
I actually don't know.
Oh my gosh. Hang on. Kathy had posted something on Facebook about that.
I have found an article about it.
Yes.
Fascinating. The rock appears in a famous legend starring a 9-tailed fox spirit. Yep, that is the kitsune.
Yep. Killing stone, that was it.
The question now is whether the fracture was a good or bad omen.
Mm.
Fascinating. I did not hear about this.
It was fairly recent. Yeah. Yeah, I just remember thinking, well, that's not what we needed right now.
Right.
No.
Like, put it back.
There is a yokai that is basically essentially a crying boulder.
Yeah, I have to say, if a rock was crying, I would definitely be skedaddling.
Yeah, I believe that the backstory on that one...
That would be a very short hiking trip. Be like, no.
The backstory of that one is something like... Now, this is, as everything I do is very bad. So, it's... no, everything I do is great. Please, go to Design Magicians. Hire me.
I want you guys to know you don't know how excited I am for Mothman. Anyway, speaking of.
So, a woman and her child, she has a baby, walking through the forest. She hears something, she turns
One
around.
with infants.
At night, of course.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Life rule. Quit doing shit at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. With babies.
Can you stay up all night?
Right.
Anyways. So, there's somebody behind her, and he kills her. And his blade hits a boulder that was right behind her as he slashes through her, and her blood hits the boulder, and the baby falls to the floor, and he leaves. and her spirit sort of possesses the boulder and begins weeping. And her and the baby are weeping together, and a villager nearby hears it, comes over, and they see the baby and they take it. I think they adopt it. And many years later, the baby has grown up to work. I don't think they're a smith. They sharpen blades. So,
Okay.
the same person comes in many years later and says, "Hey, I need my blade sharpened because I hit it against a rock and it chipped." And the child exacts his revenge and murders him right then and there. And that is the story of the Crying Boulder. I don't know what its name is, actually. I'd have to look that up. I might have just seen it. Oh, is this it? No, that is not it. That is another horrifying yokai.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. I'll find its name.
Another horrifying yokai. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, is this it? This is it. It's the Yonaki Ishi. It translates roughly to Night Crying Stone. Yeah. Again,
Wow.
Great website, yokai.com.
Oh, like you can see like a whole bunch of them?
Yes, amazing website. Definitely recommend it to anybody interested in reading about yokai.
Cool.
They have like the legends, their appearance, kind of like a little profile about each of them. There's just so much. There's so much to yokai. They break down into their own subcategories, like I was talking about earlier, like the possessed objects, where if you don't take care of your belongings over time, they'll grow to resent you and, become sentient.
Oh my gosh.
And possessed by like a spirit.
When we get off here, I may need to go dust.
You may need to go what?
Dust. Sorry, the dog. Weather's nice. People are outside. How dare they?
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
basically
Those are
everything I have
really
for
cool.
yokai right now.
Wow. We might have to cover more of them later.
Yeah, there's hundreds of them. It's basically the situation where it's like, you look under a stone and there's like 6 of them, and you pick up another stone, there's like 20 more of them. Just
Oh my gosh.
bad
Crazy.
creatures.
That's amazing. Ranging from turtle people who will eat your soul
Yes.
in the most unpleasant way possible,
Yes.
giant collective skeletons, to murdered women with slashed faces who will then murder you. Ugh.
Am I beautiful?
Ugh. Yeesh. There is no right answer.
I crossed that before. I know that I had heard of that one, but I didn't know the name.
You've
I
got
don't
to
know
hear
where
my
I came across
butchered.
it. It must be something in pop culture that brought it
Oh yeah.
up. No,
Totally.
I don't know what.
These stories have definitely penetrated through to American pop culture as well.
Yeah, because that slash from the corner of the mouth up the cheeks, it's like a mafia thing or something, and it's called
Well, I
something
think
Irish. Huh?
Glasgow. I thought it was Glasgow.
Yeah, Glasgow, Scottish, yeah. A Glasgow smile or something like that, or grin or something like that, yeah.
Or if you even think about like what was it, The Dark Knight, the one with Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Yes.
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 Same.
He had those. He had those marks.
Yeah, that type of disfiguration is kind of cultural.
Yeah, like Kappa, as gruesome as it started, now is like there's like many Kappa characters in Animal Crossing, like very cute, relaxing game.
Cute. Complete with the bowl on their head?
Yep.
Whoa.
They're super cute.
Whoa.
Yeah. You know.
Super cute till it steals your soul.
Yeah.
Through your butt.
Yes, by eating your liver through the back entrance. No.
That's yeah, that's a nope for me.
Hard pass.
So good. Yep.
Oh my gosh, so interesting.
Yeah, no, but every time we say Kappa, I just can't help but think about, the little cutesy Mario turtles.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh, it's actually a horrifying monster. And you can't tell me it's not that the Japanese designers of the original Mario didn't know that.
Oh,
Right,
really?
had no idea about the history of turtles.
Yeah,
They
no.
knew those turtles were monsters.
No, there's many many Kappa and things inspired by Kappa in video games that I've seen over the years. Yeah.
They're just cutesy, which is so weird.
Yeah, where it came from to now, where it's viewed as just this cute little river spirit, essentially.
Dang.
I don't think there's anything else anyone else who does that. I mean, the making something that started off as this horrible thing to terrify children to stay away from the river. Like, there are other monsters, that non-Japanese monsters, or the other cultures that do that?
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm trying to think of, like, well, okay, I guess, like, dragons started out as very scary monsters, and people turned them into, Puff the Magic Dragon and Barney. Well, Barney's a dinosaur.
Well,
He's a dinosaur.
If anybody listening knows of anything that fits that description, please leave a comment.
I would love to know what kind of.
Well, okay, think about fairy tales. If you're thinking European, where they started out much darker, and now they're Disney property.
Yeah, I have to say, like Cinderella, that was
much darker.
Yeah.
Those
same thing.
If you watch TikToks, messed up isn't the right word, but messed up fairy tales with Liz is a great one to watch.
I have not seen that one.
He kind of goes through the original history of some of these really old fairy tales.
Traumatizing, I'm sure.
It is 100%.
I'm gonna go with not safe for children.
Nope. It's right in the title because she doesn't say messed up fairy tales.
Right.
Yeah. So it's right in the title. It's not for kids. I don't allow my child on my TikTok because I don't know what'll show up on my For You page because I watch those.
Kappa.
Exactly. He's not allowed to look at my
TikTok.
TikTok.
Monsters. I don't think that's what's.
Yeah.
For sure.
So good.
So. Okay, I think we should probably wrap this part up.
Yep.
So, and we will have to just make a date, come back at a later time, and cover a few more of these if you can find some particularly wicked ones.
Oh, there's some beautiful ones left. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for sharing them with us.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
We're gonna sign off now. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Wolfman.